Hi guys!
Aoi desu.
Camila desu.
BK Onesan desu.
Today we are starting a new series on the channel, Band Profile.
A series where we talk about the history of some must-know bands in the Visual Kei scene.
And the first episode is X Japan, Band Profile.
But before we started, leave your thumbs up, subscribe to the channel to have more videos about Visual Kei every Thursday.
音楽シーンだけでなく文化そのものを変えてしまったんだと思います。紀元前紀元後って言葉がありますけど、同じように X の前の時代と後の時代、それくらい大きな違いが出るというぐらいの影響があったと思ってます。X は日本の保守的な社会に挑んで、全く新しい生き方を見出してそれを提示したんだと思います。まあ言ってしまえば革命を起こしたんだと思います。
X Japan is a band that doesn't need introductions, right? I mean, being a Japanese music fan, I'm sure you heard about them sometime in your life.
The best Japanese metal band and one of the biggest Japanese bands of all time. Those are the ways that people used to refer to them.
X Japan actually changes the Japanese music industry and puts what we know as Visual Kei on the spotlight.
Actually, Yoshiki Collapsing, the first person that used this word, created the Visual Kei expression based on X Japan's slogan.
Psychedelic violent crime of visual shock. In 2011, Yoshiki briefly described the early years of the band and the movement's development by saying that X Japan didn't belong to any movement in particular because they were playing heavy music and wearing a lot of makeup and crazy outfits, so they kind of had to create their own thing that later became what we know as Visual Kei now.
People call us like a visual Kei, it's like some kind of visual rock in Japan, like crazy outfit and then crazy makeup and everything. But at the same time, we play super heavy music as well as super soft music.
And Yoshi complemented saying that Visual Kei is not a music style, it's actually a way to express yourself. Also, X Japan appearance was inspired in the glam rock, like Kiss, David Bowie, and as well the traditional Japanese Kabuki theater, where it was common male actors playing the female characters, like we explained in our past video, Female Visual Kei.
Yoshiki said that he wanted to bring a visual contrast to the audience. So in an interview, he said that when they played heavy music, he did something feminine with the looks. But when they played a ballad, they actually had spike hairs.
Clearly, X Japan influenced all the following generations of Visual Kei bands. Many bands or Visual Kei related artists count them as an influence or look up to them, including the biggest names of the current scene like Miyavi, Jiren Gray, Gazette, D, and etc.
So let's talk about X Japan's history.
Yeah, Yoshiki and Toshi teamed up for the first time in 1977 when they were only 11 years old in a band called Dynamite, back in their hometown, Tateyama in Chiba.
Through the years, Dynamite changed its name and members until 82 when they disbanded under the name of Noise.
In the same year, Toshi and Yoshiki decided to make a new band and named it as X, while they are thinking about another name, but X just stayed as X. And that was the beginning of a long journey.
We can divide the story of X Japan in 5 eras that we decided to call as the X era, the X Japan era, the post-Hide era, the reunion, and the Sugizo era.
The X era began back in 1985 when they started to actively work in the Tokyo area. At that time, members changed a lot, no kidding. They had around 10 different guitarists.
Their first single, Aokilyu, was released by Dada Records in June of 1985, and in November of the same year, Taiji joined the band as a bassist.
At this point, the band was so unique that they started to facing some difficulties to fit in any musical scene. They even tried to be part of the Japan's punk movement, but they are considered too commercial and too glamorous for it, and makes sense.
In April of 1986, Yoshiki founded the independent label Extasy Records and released their second single, Orgasm. This label would later be the home for the biggest bands of the Visual Kei scene in Japan.
どうも東京ヤンキースと申します。うるせえ。バイラスです。よろしく。やめよう。よろしくお願いします。
In 87, Pata joined as a support member and recorded some few songs with them. Soon after this, Hide joined as a lead guitarist and Pata joined as an official member too. At this time, we had the most famous lineup of X Japan: Yoshiki, Toshi, Hide, Pata, and Taiji.
In 88, the band released their first album, Vanishing Vision, through Extasy Records. The album's first press of 10,000 copies sold out in a week, topping the Oricon Indies chart and reaching number 19 on the main Oricon albums chart, making them the first independent band to appear in the main chart.
After this, nothing would be the same. Their second album, Blue Blood from 1989, debuted at Oricon's chart at number 6, and Kurenai reached number 5. At that time, they are having sold-out concerts and touring all over Japan, and in one of these concerts, Yoshiki just collapsed and the tour was suspended temporarily. Yoshiki would be known by his impressive and energetic performances.
This success earned the band the Grand Prix New Artist of the Year award at the 4th Annual Japan Gold Disc Awards in 1990. That was something pretty huge for metal bands back in those days, and even nowadays, I guess.
Their third album, Jealousy, from 1991, debuted as number 1 and sold 600,000 copies. And in August of that same year, the band performed for the first time in Tokyo Dome, the biggest Japan's indoor venue.
In 1992, the band had 3 sold-out concerts at the Tokyo Dome when the bassist Taiji announced that he was leaving the band due to musical differences. However, in his autobiography, Taiji revealed that the reason was financial. Money. Yeah. According to him, he confronted Yoshiki about a huge income gap between Yoshiki and the other members, and he was just asked to leave. On 1992, the band held a press conference and Heath was announced as the new bass player. That was their second most famous lineup.
Around this time, the success of the band in Japan gave them what seems to be an international breakthrough, leading to an American record contract with Atlantic Records. Also, they had to rename the band from X to X Japan because there was a punk band in America called X. In the end, they never released the American album, but the name, we know what happened. And he started the X-Japan era with Yoshiki, Toshi, Pata, Hide, and Heath.
The first album under the name X-Japan was Art of Life, released in 93, a 29-minute track with orchestra all over it. It debuted at number 1 at the Oricon chart, but the band only had 2 concerts that year. Meanwhile, the members were starting their solo careers, especially the guitarist Hide. In the following years, the band did pretty much nothing, only like a few concerts each year, because the focus was the solo careers of the members.
In 1996, when the band released Dahlia, they started to abandon their original Visual Kei looks and started to look more casual. In September 22nd, of 1997 at 1 p.m., Yoshiki, Hide, Pata, and Heath held a press conference to announce that X Japan would disband.
Damn!
Everybody was shocked.
Yeah, they were. This decision was taken because Toshi wanted to leave the band. He said that the glamorous and successful rock star lifestyle wasn't satisfying him anymore. And this decision was actually took more than 1 year before in 96. And curiosity, 12 years later, Toshi finally admitted why he left the band. He was brainwashed by a cult and lost all his money.
X Japan performed their last concert in December of 1997 and it was called The Last Live Last Night. at Tokyo Dome, making it the last of their 5 consecutive concerts in Tokyo Dome in the end of the year.
Obviously, it's remarked by, spoiler alert,
Spoiler!
Hide's death. Hide died at the age 33 on May 2nd of 98. After a night out drinking, he was found hanged by a towel tied to a doorknob in his apartment in the Minami Asabu district of Tokyo. His death is officially stated as a suicide, but his friends and colleagues state that his death was an accident. And his solo career will be explained in a future video, so wait for it.
After X Japan, Toshi continued his extensive solo career with more than 30 albums and lots of concerts for small audiences. According to his website, his Utatabi traveling concert tour included more than 3,000 concerts between 1999 and 2003.
Pata and his worked with the percussionist and programmer of Spread Beaver, Ina, who also worked on several X Japan's releases, to create a track for the 98 Hide tribute album called Tribute Spirits. Also, the three teamed up to form a band called Dope Heads, which only released 2 albums before ending their activities.
Keith continued his solo career, and Pata formed an instrumental rock group called Rain. Since 1998, Yoshiki engaged in numerous activities, such as composing, producing, and being a member of small-term bands like the super band Skin, that consists in Miyavi, Gakti, Yoshiki, and Sugizu. And monthly he's doing lots of things, as you can see in our news videos.
The reunion era started in 2007 when Toshi stated on his website that he and Yoshiki were starting to work on a new project.
What it could be.
That meant X Japan was back. The band made its first public appearance on October of 2007 on the rooftop of a shopping center in Odaiba, Tokyo, to film a music video for their newly recorded song called 4.
The song was used as the soundtrack of that American horror movie Saw 4, and it was written by Yoshiki and recorded with all the X Japan members from the pre-breakup lineup, using a previously unreleased guitar track by Hide.
On 2008, 2 Tokyo Dome concert dates were announced, but due to the popular demand, they added a third one. And in the same year, during a press conference, plans for concerts in Paris, New York City, and Taipei were announced.
In 2009, it was announced that Sugizu, that one from Luna Sea, was becoming an official member of X Japan 2, and starting the Sugizu era. But it's important to remark that Hide was never replaced, so Sugizu was the 6th member of X Japan.
In 2010, the band made their first US appearance by shooting 4 new music videos in Hollywood. It was Rusty Nail, Endless Rain, 4, and their new song Jade. On August of the same year, the band performed a 2-day concert at the Nissan Stadium, the largest stadium in Japan. Some media reported an estimated audience of 140,000 people in the 2 days.
In this concert, the former bassist Taiji joined the band to perform the song X with them, showing that he and Yoshiki are finally friends again. But sadly, Taiji would die in the following year.
In 2011, due to the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami that occurred in Japan, the band decided to postpone the release of Jade. Yoshiki also decided to auction one of his used Kawai crystal grand pianos, and all the proceeds were donated to the victims of this earthquake.
Later in that year, Scarlet Love Song was released in Japan, and also their first worldwide single, Jade. And in the same day, they performed in London, starting their first worldwide tour, which was followed by Paris, Utrecht, Berlin, Santiago, São Paulo, Buenos Aires, Lima, Mexico City.
In April of 2017, Yoshiki said that the 6 album songs were ready and the release was expected for the next few months, But it's 2019 and we are still waiting for it. I think this album is the Chinese democracy of ex-Japan.
Yeah.
Maybe in the next 20 years we'll listen to it. Yeah, maybe
Probably. Summarizing, X-Japan released 5 studio albums, 6 live albums, and 21 singles. In 2003, HMV Japan ranked the band at the number 4th of their list of 100 most important pop acts of Japan.
In 2007, Rolling Stone Japan ranked Blue Blood number 15 on their list of the 100 greatest Japanese rock albums of all time.
Ooh.
And in the same year, Loudwire ranked X-Japan as the best metal band of Japan.
It has been reported that X-Japan sold 30 million records, besides being one of the first Japanese acts to reach mainstream success.
Well, that's all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed our new video section, band profiles. If there's any band you want us to talk about here, please leave a comment. And check our last videos too.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And that's it.
Yeah, that's all for today. Aoi deshita.
カミラでした。
BK お姉さんでした。
バイバイ。バイバイ。